just heading down to the cabin to film, and we realized a massive tree came down. Whoa!
It's living in Maine for you.
That's living in Maine. Cheers! Woo. Hey everyone!
Everybody. This is Gypsy Trails, and we are doing our long-awaited gear review and what we had ending our through hike of the Appalachian Trail.
This is all the gear we concluded our hike with. We really switched things out a lot on trail, and we were very blessed to have a lot of family to help coordinate that with us, but we just wanted to talk about the bare essentials that are really important for a through hike and what we ended with. So we're just going to take everything out of our packs organically and talk about it.
Let's do it!
Woo!
So we're just going to kind of pull things out and go over them, what we ended with, and gonna just try to do it that way. It might be kind of chaotic, but we're gonna link our whole gear list down below in the description.
Yes.
And
everything
all
we
the
talk
links to
about.
that, so, sleeping bag liner. This was good. In the later part of the hike, I ended with this because I chose not to upgrade to my sleeping bag, which was like a 20-degree bag, I believe. So it would have been it was a bit too much for the beginning of the hike. I felt like it was nice to have the warmth, but I decided to just keep my quilt and go with the sleeping bag liner. And I found that it really did the job. You just sleep with all your clothing on anyways, so this was a good thing to have at the end of our hike.
All right, let's see what we got. Haven't opened this thing up in a while. First thing is my Patagonia down sweater. This thing is great because it's not super thick, not super thin. It was like that nice in-between down coat that I kept the entire trail. I always recommend just keeping a down coat because the temperatures really fluctuate in the higher elevation. So this was great.
All right, so I got in here my blue Patagonia. It's not down, it's like a synthetic type of material. I carried this with me my whole hike, even during the heat of the summer, because it doubled as a pillow. And I had it in this little red stuff sack here, and it was perfect. I didn't touch it for like a month or two during the middle of our hike, but it was great. It was just great to have, like something to rest my head on at night. So
next I have the Nemo switchback, which we love so much that Gypsy was inspired to buy his own. About I think it was in Virginia he got it. So yeah, this thing is awesome. It folds out like an accordion, super easy to use. I want to talk briefly about our sleeping pads. We both had the Thermarest Neo Air X Lite pad, and I'll put a picture of that right here on the screen. We have a love-hate relationship with it. It lasted the whole trail for me until the 100-mile wilderness when I got off trail and tried to clean it, and the baffling all separated and it formed like a bubble in the middle. And that happened to Gypsy right in the beginning of his hike. His baffling separated. But for me, the pad was so faithful, so light. I really had a great experience until the very end of our hike. Bless REI for still taking it back and returning it for me. But I really have a love-hate relationship with that, and I was stuck with just this in the remaining week of our hike. But this thing is great for snack breaks.
right here I got my Hiker Hunger hoodie. It's like that waffle type of material, and I carried this with me the whole hike, and I really had nothing bad to say about it. Although I do wish it had like the kangaroo pocket. That's one thing it didn't have. It's a lot similar to the Melanzana hoodie, except it just doesn't have that kangaroo pouch on it. So this was unfortunately I couldn't get the Melanzana because you have to like go to Colorado.
Yeah.
I think. Because they don't really do online sales, so
it's super exclusive.
Yeah, so I was not that lucky, but this was a good second choice, and it did me well. I had my Patagonia like leggings, skin tight pants. Loved them. They were really great to me. Perfect to kind of just climb into at the end of the day, and yeah, they you can really roll them down pretty tight. So those were good. I ended with EMS, like a light moisture wicking top, which when it got colder, the long sleeves were really nice to have.
Next, I have my Carhartt Danger Beanie, a classic for me. For most of the hike, I did carry a fleece cap because if you don't know, fleece still stays warm even when it's wet, which is great for really rainy trails like the AT. But I just wanted to switch to change it up at the end of trail.
Yeah, I had my gray fleece cap, which was great. Yeah, pretty cheap on Amazon. We'll link that in the description. But yeah, it was great, and it doubled as like a blindfold at night. Like in the summertime, we're going to bed at like 8 o'clock, and it's still light out. So I just put this over my eyes, and it was perfect.
Next, I have my Nightcore headlamp. This thing is awesome. It's a rechargeable headlamp. I went through 2 other headlamps on trail that were battery powered, and they just did not hold up for me. They were not waterproof enough, and for some reason the light would always just go dim on me, and I was really struggling when we were doing the really early morning hiking. So I finally caved once we got to New Hampshire and bought myself a Nightcore, and haven't looked back since.
And I actually have the same Nightcore, well, different color, but same deal. And again, just an amazing headlamp. It's so thin and light, and it's perfect. Some people like to substitute this headband with a really like a ultralight type of string.
It's like a string, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you want to, but I just kept the headband. But yeah, just really great headlamp. And also another good thing to have is a buff. I have my blue one right here. I mean, obviously it helps with the cold, but it also helps a lot with the bugs. There was a couple times on trail where we were just getting mercilessly attacked by mosquitoes, and I would just put it on my head. Well, so far today has been tremendously awful. Got him. And just to cover your ears, you really just want to cover your ears, because for whatever reason, black flies, mosquitoes, gnats, they all go for your ears and your eyes, and they fly inside of your ears, into your eyes, and just awful.
Even in the summertime, you'd want like sunglasses and a buff over your ears.
Yeah.
But I did learn that you can put sassafras leaves behind your ears, and I found that it did help me on several occasions. Next, I have our Big Agnes footprint, and this was kind of a last-minute purchase before trail because someone convinced us to get it. Basically, the main perk of this is that you can set up your tent in pouring rain conditions, and basically you set up the footprint and the fly first, and then you crawl under your tent and set up the rest under the dry rain fly. And it took us a while to master this. We still don't really recommend setting up in the rain because we did have a big fiasco with that. But I would recommend investing in the footprint if you have a big Agnes tent. Quick little costume change.
Getting cold here. So next up we have Snow Peak umbrella. I think this is the lightest umbrella you can buy right now.
Yeah, there were other ones out there, by Z-Packs, but they're so long they wouldn't compact down like this.
The Z-Packs one was like a regular
and
size.
Jay Wanders Out was the one who inspired us to buy the Snow Peak umbrella, and it was incredible. It's a little hard to collapse, but it really held up for us, and we loved having umbrellas on trail. We loved it.
And it weighs, I think, all of like 4 ounces or 6 ounces, something like that.
Super worth it.
It's insanely light. You hardly even know it's there.
Next up, I have a Z-Packs pack cover. I kind of splurged on this because I wanted just, a really lightweight pack cover, and this was the best out there. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. It got a lot of holes in it, basically. I carry my tent poles on the side of my pack. This ripped a bunch of holes in it, so maybe it's my problem with the tent poles, but I would like to find a new pack cover, I think, for next time.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with that same theme. My Sea to Summit pack cover. Yeah, just a 70-liter pack cover. Nice blue color. I really liked it. Held up for me. I mean, it, kind of mostly kept out the rain as long as it wasn't downright pouring. But if you use this along with your umbrella, you really keep everything dry. If you're only using your pack cover and no umbrella, your straps still get wet and then they soak through, and then all that moisture goes into your pack. So after a while, pack cover is pretty much useless. But if you use this alongside the umbrella, that is the way to go. And
we both used garbage bags as pack liners too, just as like a super fail safe, just because we had a lot of tech with us on trail. So I kept all of my clothing here in this little Hyperlight pod, and that worked out great for me. The pods are pretty expensive, so I just bought one. Just for my Hyperlight bag, and I loved it. It was so durable. I have liner gloves from EMS, and these are great if it was like semi-cold. And then as soon as we were in Maine, I actually added in my other EMS mittens. These are awesome. I love these, and I have really bad circulation in my hands, so that's why I did carry kind of an extra safety pair of gloves for myself. So I definitely carried too many clothes at the end, but I definitely think it saved me in the 100-mile wilderness with all the fords we had on the rainy day. I was able to change into completely new clothes. First up, I have a little turtle fur neck gaiter. This thing is so cozy, and a pair of Mountain Hardwear pants, and I can layer these on top of my green leggings. These are great. Some Patagonia shorts. I switched to these in Virginia. They're awesome because they have built-in underwear, and they were a little bit longer, which I found more comfortable when hiking. And I started out with like the Patagonia like short shorts, and they didn't work out for me. But these are great. This is an Outdoor Research long like thin shirt, and this thing is great for layering. Super warm. I purchased it in Damascus and love it. I carried an extra long sleeve, again, like for hypothermia reasons with all the water. This is just from Lululemon. I've had this since high school and I love it. It has the little like thumb holes too. Green leggings from Beyond Yoga. You can get these at REI. Really durable and soft. Best leggings out there. And then I had a little tank top. This is also from Lululemon. I was gifted it by my skating coach, but yeah, I really love it. And then I also carried 2 pairs of Darn Tough socks. These I layered on top of my Injinjis, and this was like my hiking set. And then these were like my sacred socks that I would change into just for sleeping, and that turned out to be really luxurious and nice for me to have like a dedicated clean pair of warm socks to have on trail.
forgot to grab them, but I ended with a pair of REI like shorts, like hiking shorts with a liner, and I used those alongside my Patagonia leggings just for extra thermal. So I forgot them; they're at the house, but I ended with those. I have my my rain jacket. It was from EMS, just a regular rain jacket. I don't know. It's pretty light, so yeah.
I'm actually wearing the shell that I ended trail with. It's my Marmot Minimalist black jacket. This thing was definitely way too hot for the beginning of trail, and I carried like a light windbreaker in the beginning of trail. And then I switched out to this once we got to Vermont, New Hampshire area. And this thing is great.
Okay, so we got our bathroom kit. So just got a trowel by thetentlab.com. What kind is it?
It's called the Deuce.
The Deuce. The Deuce by the Tent Lab. Let me show you fancy thing I did to it. Did a couple modifications with it. Had this wrapped up with paracord, some black paracord. Yes, it's not ultra light. Sorry. But I had this little carabiner attached to it too, and it was great. I just clipped it to the outside of my pack, and it was perfect. The paracord protected my hands because these edges here are sharp, and they dig into your hands. And I think I can count on two hands the amount of times I dug a cat hole, and I was able to just sink right into the ground. 95% of the time, you're fighting with roots, you're fighting with rocks, and you're never able to dig a 6-inch cat hole. Yeah, while you're just sitting there trying to stab at the ground, hacking away, it hurts your hands to try to, it just digs into your hands, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. So paracord was great. Really came in handy. And you know what? I didn't notice the extra 0.02 ounces that it added to my base weight, so
everyone has their own preferences.
Yeah. I also have some wet wipes in here. Some people like to use toilet paper because you can bury that in the cat hole. You cannot bury the flushable wipes. They do not decompose. I mean, they do, but just it takes a long time for them to decompose because they have plastics in them. So you have to pack those out. I really loved them. They were great. And I mean, you just have to pack it out. So, and they're also good for cleaning up your body at the end of the day, especially your legs. I started calling Fern Mud Flap because at the end of the day, her back of her legs would just be covered in dirt and grime and mud. The wipes were great for just cleaning yourself off at the end of the day. So
I also had the same bathroom kit, trowel, baby wipes, and then a separate bag inside of this to put your dirty wipes in. That's really critical to have an extra bag for that. So I'm not really going to talk about it. But.
Got me a pack towel. These are really good to have. I was using this a lot for all the fordings that we had to do in Maine. And so this was really helpful towards the end of the hike.
On the outside, I have our Big Agnes tent poles. I carried those, and Gypsy carried the tent and the fly. So these fit really well on the side of your Hyperlight bag to put your tent poles there. So
I had my Nemo. I kept our tent down here, bottom of my pack. And that's where it stayed the whole time. Yeah, it's great. Good to keep it somewhere accessible, so like it's the first thing you can pull out of your pack. Because when you get to camp, that's like the first thing you want to pull out and get set up before anything else. So I would just put your tent somewhere you can easily snag without having to dig through your pack first.
Same with stakes and ground cloth. Put those on the top.
Yeah, if you get into a situation, well, it's raining or it's about to rain, and you're digging through your stuff trying to find your
fast.
Cloth, it's not a fun time. And yeah, I ended up sleeping on my Nemo pad for like probably the last third of the hike. No, I sent my stuff back in Damascus. My last one. So it was like the second half of the hike.
He just slept on that.
I slept on it.
I was pretty uncomfortable.
It was okay.
Just on that. If you're a side sleeper, you should get an air pad.
Yeah, I mean it's really just getting used to it. The first week was pretty rough, but then eventually, you know, you get used to it, and your body wakes up pretty achy at first, but then it's fine. I mean, whatever. We're out there roughing it.
A little repair kit. In here we just have super glue wire ties, an extra water bottle cap, some patches for my down coat, safety pin, rubber bands, clips, just pretty lightweight stuff that's easy to carry and you'll thank yourself for having in the long run.
Yeah, so I have mine right here, and I just have like all types of ties, and I have safety pins, and I have my little pair of nail clippers, little multi-tool, the Gerber dime, which was good because it has scissors on it, so that was really helpful. Ties, safety pins, super glue,
Velcro, extra lighter,
wire ties. These came in handy, and have a little roll of like duct tape here. Just anything, yeah, extra lighter. I mean, yeah, like the littlest things can really come in handy.
Next I have my very stripped down first aid kit. You know, it really just has doxycycline, Band-Aids, Excedrin, Advil, some anti-diarrheal alcohol prep pads, antibiotic ointment. So very stripped down, you know, just bare essentials. Next up, I just have also the Snow Peak umbrella. Great piece of gear. You can also use it to protect yourself from the harsh sun that will happen to you in July. Our tent stakes as well. Pretty lightweight, just in this little baggie.
Yeah, I brought my sunglasses with me the whole time, but they honestly helped me more with the bugs than they did the sun, because everyone talks about the green tunnel, and that's very true. I mean, you're in the green tunnel probably 75% of the time.
And it's wonderful because it basically drops like 10 degrees as soon as you get in the green tunnel. But I had talked to Natalie and John about sun protection, and you really don't need the sunglasses in the green tunnel, but what Natalie was doing was buying clear like sunglasses, or like those fake kind of computer glasses that are just clear. Those would be perfect for the AT, and in hindsight I wish I had gotten those.
Since we were vlogging, we have more like for electronics and stuff than probably the normal person would need. I have the 20,000 milliamp Nightcore battery bank. It was pretty good to me. I was having some issues with it kind of towards the end. I would like plug something in and it wouldn't recognize it and wouldn't charge it, but for the most part it was okay for me. Fern had two 10,000s, and that was, I mean, they were perfect for you, so maybe I would go with the two 10s. Plus they also weigh less than the 20,000 combined, so I might do that if we ever do this again. I also have a Invisi wall plug charger. It has 3 ports there, one for USB, 2 Type-C, and yeah, it was great. Kind of heavy. GoPro headband. I bought this in New Hampshire, and
it was helpful.
Yeah, no, I love this thing, so that worked out for me. It was perfect. I also have the the dock for the GoPro batteries, the charging dock. I had 3 regular GoPro batteries and 2 of the Enduro batteries that are for like cold weather, and they just last longer. And I would definitely use the Enduro batteries, only the Enduro batteries, because the regular GoPro batteries are pretty bad when it comes to like even a hint of cold weather. This was actually my setup right here. I had this little tripod, which I went through 2 or 3 of these from Joby, and I loved it, so I kept getting the same one, even though they kept breaking.
For electronics, we'll start with the big mama, my iPad mini. And this thing is great. I just put it in this little padded envelope that I got from Amazon, and it's a really lightweight way of carrying and protecting your iPad. But yeah, I just had the iPad mini with the little pencil for drawing and editing, and this thing was incredible. I used LumaFusion to edit all of our videos on trail. You can do that offline. And then I made our thumbnails with the portable Photoshop app, and the process worked great. It just got a lot harder when we got into the north and Wi-Fi was more scant. After we crossed into Maine, I said goodbye to this temporarily, but I just wanted to show that. Next in here, I have my little Beats mini Bluetooth headphones, and I just put my name and number on the back. These were great, really nice headphones for the trail, and I think it was worth having the wireless ones. Like Gypsy said, I carried the 10,000 milliamp Nightcore. I had 2 of these, and that was great because there was always a friend on trail who needed extra juice who wasn't prepared. It was really great being able to share the battery banks, and I found that the 2 10s could last me about like 6 days maximum. And I think we even did 8 days once on a resupply, which is
that was
great.
Really stretching it.
For charging, I kind of splurged on this Anchor Seaport. It's basically like the Fast IQ charger, and this thing was awesome for hostels where you're sharing all these outlets with just tons of hikers, and so you need to charge your stuff quickly. Or if you're just stopping, at a restaurant to charge up. This thing was so fast, and I think I spent like $45 on this, but it was worth it. It's heavy, it's worth the wait, but yeah, Anchor makes a great charger. I carried 4 cords, and that was it. Just my phone cord, a cord for my iPad, backup for my phone, and then I had also a cord for my Garmin and the Nightcore headlamp. And then I just carried my Garmin InReach Mini. This thing is great. We used it a lot at the beginning of the AT and the end of the AT. That's when we had the most service problems, but the middle of trail in the mid-Atlantic, the service was incredible.
Oh, man.
I could just call up friends and be talking to them along the trail, so that was something to look forward to, but this came in big handy the beginning and end parts of the trail.
I had kind of the same deal with cords as Fern. I think I carried about 4 of them. 2 Type-Cs, a long one and a short one. I carried just the regular micro USB, and then another Type-C with a USB end. And then I carried one to charge my Garmin watch, which had a different plug to it as well. For earbuds, I had the JBL headphones. Earbuds were pretty good. They started malfunctioning like when we got into the northern states, and only the right side would charge. The left one it just stopped charging on me. So, but I usually only hiked with one in anyways, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So.
I would say if you're hiking as a couple, I think it's worth having at least one pair of Bluetooth headphones so y'all can like share podcasts and audiobooks and music together. That was just like a really fun thing, being able to share those together on trail.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on the last few things here. I just have our slick line from Hilltop Packs. This thing is great. It ended up being the best cord that we used on trail. The food bag from Hilltop Packs. I actually made this one myself, and I'm really proud of it. It's the White Mountain Warrior. And I also have this print available on my Etsy too. And then on the outside, I just have a carabiner with way too many scrunchies. I don't know. I just like having backups, I guess. And then my Kula cloth, which, if you don't know, is an antimicrobial cloth for women using the bathroom outside. And this thing is awesome. I'd use it a couple days and then, wash it out in a responsible way outside. And this thing lasted me the whole trail, and I absolutely love it. Just a little bandana. This one has stars on it. A friend gave it to me. And then we also have our jet boil, which we use to make some hot bevs. Some hotties. But we have the jet boil stash. We had absolutely no issues with it the whole trail. It's a great stove. Basically, the fuel can stashes inside of it, so it's very space efficient. So the whole trail, we carried 2 fuel cans. Evan would carry one, and then we had one stashed inside of the stove. So at all times, we had 2 fuel sources, and I would definitely recommend carrying that extra fuel as soon as you get into the northern part of the trail, because resupply options are few, and this is when the temperatures are going to start getting colder. I'd much rather carry the extra weight with fuel than run the risk of running out with cold temperatures, because that can be just a really scary feeling. Next, I have my little koozie, and we got these from Etsy, and I put a little abstract hike sticker on it. Make it really fun. But inside of here, I just have 2 things. My little Sea to Summit collapsible cup, and also the Tokes titanium spoon.
I guess we'll go over our water system. We actually didn't end with the knock bag, the bladder. We ended up using the Be Free. Was it 1 liter?
The Be Free, 1.5, and 1, I think I carried the 1 liter, but one main discovery we had on trail was that it's best if you're hiking as a team that you each have your own separate filters, because we just found that, oftentimes we drank water at different increments, so it's good to have your own filter and be able to be kind of self-reliable in that way. But yeah, we started out with the big CNOC bags and realized they were kind of a hassle and how much we love the Katadyn filters, so we just started using the little Katadyn bags with the Smart Water bottles, and that worked great for us.
Yeah. So last couple things in here, I have my Enlightened Equipment quilt. Absolutely love this thing. It is amazing for summer hiking, and even for a little bit of fall hiking if you have the pack line or the sleeping bag liner. Loved it. You can button it up so it's basically a sleeping bag as well. But yeah, absolutely love this thing. Super lightweight compared to the 20-degree Sea to Summit bag that I had. So loved it.
As for quilts, I also had the Enlightened Equipment quilt, and I used that basically in the middle of our hike. At the beginning, I started out with my Sea to Summit Jolly Joe quilt. This was 18 degree, and I definitely needed it at the beginning when the temperatures were really low. And then at the end, I wanted to carry my Sea to Summit Jolly Joe again, but it's such a heavy quilt, and I realized that Evan's Sea to Summit, this is the Trek TK 650 Loft. This is a 20-degree quilt. I realized this was just as warm as my other one, but a lot lighter, so he allowed me to carry this at the very end because he's a warm sleeper and I'm a cold sleeper. So this ended up being really great, good bang for my buck at the end.
So just to end it out on my bag, just a few things. carry some hand sanitizer.
I also had that too. Forgot to mention.
Chapstick, which is didn't really use it in the warmer months, but towards the end it came in handy, especially when you get to the whites and you get to the presidentials. It's really good to have chapstick. And then just a few pack accessories. I ended with this knife, which was great. I got it when we went to the world's largest Cabela's. Yes. I have this Hyperlight phone holder that was sent to us by Christopher Marshburn, our #1 fan. Yeah, it was great. I loved it. Good little pocket. I would stick feathers and leaves in here too. You know, cool stuff that I found. We had this, we got it off Etsy. It's like a bottle holder. And I think
Justin UL on Etsy.
Okay, yeah. I think Amazon sells a similar product too, but these were great. I had no issues with this. It didn't rip. It didn't tear. The Velcro held, so really, really good good item. It held up the whole time. So my favorite gear item was my bandana. Multi-purpose. I just had it hanging right there. You know, just every time I need to blow my nose, whatever, I would use it to sweep out the tent, to get all the dirt and stuff out of the tent. It was great. This was probably my favorite piece of gear.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Loved it.
Bring a bandana.
Yeah.
So I'll just talk briefly about my pack here. I have the Hyperlight, I believe it's the Southwest pack. Loved it. Super light. I think it's great for ladies because it's nice to have, you know, a lighter pack for the ladies. And only regret is that I wish I had gotten the black one because this got absolutely trashed, kind of on the bottom. I mean, this is better because Gypsy lovingly scrubbed it down after the hike and a couple times during our hike as well. So it does clean really well, but in hindsight I would have gotten the black one. I love this front pocket. It's so helpful to just keep all your stuff that you need, like your bathroom kit, your gloves, your hat, your headlamp. I stuck all of that in the front, as well as my snacks for the current day. And then on the front I just hooked my Garmin, had my bandana hanging from it, and then I also had the water bottle holder here as well. I ended up ditching the fanny pack because it just felt like too many things like strapped to me, and I wanted to test my limits and go even lighter, so I started carrying my phone in the side pockets and my wallet and headphones, and I found that these were enough to get by. It's a great pack. I would say get the white one for winter hiking for sure. Yeah, I had no issues. Absolutely love the Hyperlight bags. And then to finish it out, I just wanted to mention my trekking poles. I had the Black Diamond ski poles. These are actually not for hiking, but
well, they're for both.
They're for both. I got them off Amazon, and they're incredible. I hiked the whole New Hampshire 48 and the entire AT with these poles, and they held up through and through. Just amazing quality. I replaced the tips in New Hampshire, and yeah, they were really good to me.
So for my pack, I have the Osprey Atmos AG 65 liter pack. Yeah, I loved it. Definitely not as light as some of the UL packs are these days. In the extra weight, it brought a lot more support. I felt like, especially when you have, it's like the first or second day after a resupply, and you have a really heavy resupply, which we were accustomed to doing, because we have no sense of self-control in the grocery store when we see food on trail. So when you end up screwing yourself and getting way too heavy of a resupply, this thing came in handy. When I had a 45-pound resupply, the back support on this thing was amazing. It had this like mesh meshy type of layer right here that really it's meant to just keep the air moving in between the pack and your back, and just to kind of keep that layer of moving air to so you don't get all sweaty. I had one little issue with one of the support braces popping out, but I fixed it and I haven't had an issue since. Yeah, overall I really loved this pack, and it treated me well on the whole trail, and it will definitely have a life beyond the trail. My trekking poles were Black Diamond. They were just the regular trekking poles, a little bit skinnier because they're not like the ski type poles. I love these poles. These are unfortunately not the poles I started the AT with. I ended up snapping my original pair around mile 1500 when we were in Massachusetts, and I was very sad because those are the poles I hiked the 48 in, and I wanted to finish the AT with them, but it's all good. I ended up buying the exact same pair, so loved them.
That concludes our gear video. We really hope it is helpful for the upcoming class of 2023. We are going to take a few minutes to just throw everything back in our bags and weigh them so you know our base weight, what we ended with, and we're pretty curious too. All right,
starting with Fern's pack right here.
My
Let's
base
see what
weight.
we got for a post AT hike base weight.
Woohoo! Let's see.
15 pounds.
15! That's impressive. Don't you think that's pretty good?
That's pretty good.
So
anything below 20 is considered ultra light.
Ultra light. You guys, I whipped it down to the bare essentials, and I'll put my original starting base weight right here on the screen. All right.
Now for my ultra heavy.
Ultra heavy.
Post base weight.
We couldn't be more different as a couple.
20 pounds.
Woo!
Which is still pretty good.
That's honestly really good. But you don't have the GoPro in there right now.
Yeah, I do. I have the other GoPro in there. Yeah, I mean, maybe add like 1 more pound just to be safe in case I forgot 1 or 2 things. Yeah, I think my original base weight was about 23 or 25 pounds.
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah.
Good for you.
Lost a bunch.
You lost a bunch.
So, feeling good about that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Please feel free to reach out with any gear comments in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you all. You mean a lot to us. And yeah, thanks so much for taking the time to watch our video. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.
Happy trails.
Happy trails.